All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to season 2, episode 5, as we run through the beginning part of spring training here. Welcome to DPF On Tap. Got a really busy show for you tonight, as usual. I'm gonna lead us off here, and then we'll go down our list of topics, and we'll end up with some viewer comments. Just want to make sure that everybody remembers for your Wi-Fi, internet, surveillance camera, audio, TV setup, and hanging needs. Remember Pensive Technology at pensivetechnology.com. Pensive Technology brings you on tap every week or every other week during the off season, I should say. So, also going into the next couple of weeks, remember we're partnering with No Fly Zone. We're going to offer, or they're going to offer an all-you-can-eat and all-you-can-drink tailgate on 3:30. So that's Saturday, March 30th. That'll be the second game of the year, with opening day being Thursday, off day Friday. This DPF No Fly Zone tailgate will be Saturday, March 30th. Tickets for the all you can eat and all you can drink are $50. There is a designated driver option for food only with soda and water included for $30. So make sure you check out No Fly Zone on their website, and you could get tickets for that event, as well as remember on the 18th of May, DPF has our DPF night at the Phillies. We'll partner again with No Fly Zone. Same ticketing information. So $50 all you can eat, all you can drink, and $30 for the designated driver all you can eat option. Currently, we're at just around 400 tickets sold. So really, just want to say a quick shout out and a thank you to everybody that's already bought your tickets. Make sure that you, if you're interested, get those tickets soon. We're in section 301 to 306 and 310. So make sure that you're putting in the code DPF 2024 when you go in to purchase your tickets. That'll make sure that you're in the right sections. Also, that day is Salute to Service, so we have a Salute to Service T-shirt on our website, and we are partnering with the Battle Brothers Foundation. We'll give a portion of the proceeds of those shirts to help the Battle Brothers Foundation and our veterans that they help through their charity. So if you go to our website, you can shop now on the Facebook page. And remember, we are also teaming up with Yards Brewery. They keep us here on Tap hydrated. I know the boys have some. I've got some Philly Standard beer here. Make sure that you're supporting Yards and specifically the Philly Standard. But I love it. I went on their website earlier this week, and I saw they have a motto. Their motto is "Brew unto others." I thought that fit in really well with the City of Brotherly Love, and it represents what they say. It represents their commitment to quality, community, and sustainability. And so, while you're cheering on the Phils, go grab some Yards, Philly Standard, and just know that that's the beer choice for on tap here. All right, those are all of our plugs. Let me get it over to Dugan. Dugan, doing a little minor league options update.
Yeah, I went to look into this because I never really followed minor league options. Guys come and go off the roster during the course of a season. They're up, they're down, they're sent up, they're sent down. So I really wanted to look into what exactly is involved with minor league options and how many of these guys have left, because we really only have maybe 2 or 3 position battles going on in spring training. So some of these decisions that the Phillies make of who they're going to keep and who they're going to try and send down really could be affected by how many options these guys have left. So Essentially, when a player gets put on a 40-man roster, they are allocated 3 minor league options, and those 3 options kind of follow you, whether you change teams, get traded, get released, get re-signed. Once you're on a 40-man roster, you have 3 options where you can get sent back down. Once you've been activated on the 26-man, you can get sent back down 3 times. Once you're out of those options, you then have to clear waivers to be put back down into the minors, or subject to being DFA'd. So with the position battles that are going on with the Phillies, we may have 1, maybe 2 bench spots, maybe 1 or 2 bullpen, back end of the bullpen spots available in spring training. I wanted to take a look and see where our guys stood and who potentially could be affected by not making the team, and whether or not we might lose a couple guys. So the guys with 3 options remaining, I'm not going to really talk about our guys that are, the Harpers and the Romutos. I mean, there's certain milestones that you make for service time where you just gets wiped away. You cannot be sent to the minors. So those guys have all been around a long enough time that those options don't exist for them anymore. But one guy I'm going to talk about, only because I'm sure he's going to make the team, but he's a young guy, so if he struggles, there's the potential that he may need to be sent down at some point during the season. It's John's guy, Kirkring. He does still have 3 options remaining, so that he hasn't been sent down at all. So he has 3 options remaining. Another guy is the candidate for the bullpen is Michael Mercado. He also has 3 options remaining, so he could be a guy that they send down initially and can call him up at different points during the season. Guys with 2 options remaining, Johan Rojas has 2 options remaining. I'll get into it a little later, but he's getting pushed a little bit this spring by Pache, so it's nice to know that he has some options. He can get sent down, maybe work on his hitting, and be brought up back later in the season without the risk of losing him. Weston Wilson also has 2 options remaining. Some of the guys with 1 option remaining, so no risk of losing them if they were to be sent down. Derek Hall, Cody Clemens, Colby Allard, Nick Nelson, Max Castillo, Junior Marte, Michael Rucker, and Luis Ortiz. So you got a couple guys there that are bullpen candidates that have 1 option remaining. So they could be bullpen guys, or maybe like that 6th starter if we were to have some injuries during the season. They can be called back up. The guys with no options remaining. So these are the guys that are kind of make it, or we risk of losing them, through the waiver process. Sosa, I think he's going to be a bench guy, but he has no options remaining. Pache has none. John's boy Jake Cave has none. Connor Brogdon. Yeah. Connor Brogdon. Brogdon's out of options. Newly acquired Spencer Turnbull and Dylan Covey. So those are all guys that, if they don't make the roster out of spring training, the Phillies are going to have to slip them through waivers to keep them in the system and be able to assign them to AAA. So I think it's going to be a balancing act how the Phillies make these decisions, at least initially coming out of the spring. Kind of be strategic so that they don't, I'm sure there's guys they like for whatever reason. Jake Caves is the guy that the Phillies like. So I'm sure they don't want to risk losing him. So it's going to be a little cat and mouse game with how they use these spots. Because I believe they're only going to have 4 bench guys and 8 bullpen guys. So it's probably really 1 bench spot up for grabs, assuming Rojas is the everyday center fielder. And probably two bullpen spots. So, but I thought it was interesting how this worked, and the potential risk of losing some of these guys. So that's where.
Just
that's
so
where
I'm clear, Chris.
Yeah.
Just so I'm clear. So if those guys with no options they don't make the major league squad, we can't just assign them to Lehigh Valley coming out of spring training. They have to go through the waiver process.
They have to go through waivers, and every team will have a chance to claim them. Yeah, if they clear through waivers, then they can be assigned to minor leagues, or you can designate them for assignment. Flat out. So, yep. So there's a couple guys that I think are, bubble guys, especially some of the bullpen guys like Brogdon and Kobe. Even the Spencer Turnbull, he's thrown the ball well so far this spring for them. So it's going to be interesting the way that they balance this. And then Pache and Cave, I think that could come down to those two guys for the last spot. So, and I think one might be more attractive to other teams than others right now, but yeah, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, Jake Cave, you are a Savannah Banana.
You sound like a little bit like Darth Vader. John,
Hey,
you sound
John.
a little Darth Vader-ish. You get your voice. I don't know, your audio is a little off.
Can you hear me now?
Same.
Good.
You're like talking through like Darth Vader.
I'll bounce out. I'll come back in.
All right.
So one more quick question. So there was a little bit of chatter on the, on our page earlier this week about sort of this topic, and what would you do with maybe a Pache if you know he doesn't have any options? You probably want him to start the year in AAA, but you don't think he's going to clear waivers. Is this a possible where Dave Dombrowski could, package him in a deal to get some other piece that we might need?
Yeah, I definitely think he could be used. Right now, I think he's pushing Rojas. I think he's got the lead for that last bench spot, depending on how the Phillies view it. I mean, they don't really use pinch hitters a lot, so I'm not real concerned about a right-handed heavy bench or a left-handed heavy bench. I don't think there's really that need for balancing the bench that way. But I think he so far he's got 2 home runs this spring, hitting like 260 something. I mean, he's swinging the bat pretty good, and he's an A+ defender. I mean, he's not elite like Rojas, but he's a notch below. He's a very good defender. So even as like a fifth outfielder, because I would assume Merrifield's kind of the fourth outfielder now, he could be a late inning defensive replacement for guys. He come off the bench and hit. He's got a little speed too, so he could run. So I think he's got an inside track for that last spot. So
cool. Thanks, man.
Yep.
Johnny.
Good now?
You're back.
Hey,
all right.
there you go.
Yeah. I figured it out. For some reason, my buds kicked in as the mic as well instead of the actual mic, so had a little mix up there.
Well, I love this segment coming up, Johnny. I like to call it Down on the Farm. So take it away, my friend.
Thanks. Yeah, I just I wanted to highlight a couple guys that got promoted since last year. About 3 guys that and right before the season begins, I'll have more because obviously, as they get sent home from the big league camp, we'll figure out, what level they get sent to, assigned to and whatnot. And or who's, doing what in camp, who gets bumped up, sent, status quo, whatnot. But I got Kendall Simmons, who got promoted late in the year last year from low A, from the single A up to Reading. Now he's been he played, let me see, 8 games in rookie. He was in 8 games in rookie ball and 1 in Jersey Shore. Now the previous year he was in rookie ball in Clearwater too. So it seems like he's bouncing back and forth from like rookie league to like the single A, but he's finally up with Reading now. He's got last year he got overall 271 average, 9 home runs, 42 RBIs, 873 OPS. By the way, I'm sorry I didn't mention he's a second baseman as well. Obviously blocked in the big leagues for a while, but I mean, from what I've seen, from the little I've seen of him on tape, I mean, he's not a bad kid. I'm curious to see what's going on with him. He's been in the minors since 2018, so like I said, he must have struggled a little bit. because I was when I was digging him for his stats and all, digging around, it's like bounces back from like rookie to jersey, rookie. I'm sorry, rookie ball, Clearwater, Clearwater, jersey, jersey, Clearwater. So it's like he's finally up. I'm sorry, not Reading. He's at Jersey Shore. I messed that up. But hopefully he can stick on it there and continue to progress. Another guy. This guy hasn't pitched in the minor. He hasn't pitched in the minor since 2019. Newly acquired pitcher. He's been in Adelaide ever since 2018. Lachlan Wells. Now, he caught my eye because obviously I was up every weekend. I had Mike staying out with me in the wee hours of one weekend. Texted back and forth, 3:00 in the morning. I'm like, good times though. Man, it was my first time watching the Adelaide Giants play in the all season, and I'll be there next year too. It was kind of cool to watch. But this guy, he won every game he pitched in, even in the playoffs. He struggled a little bit because he had a little bit of high ERA, 4.67 ERA, but he had 63 strikeouts and a 1.32 WHIP to go along with his record. But like he would kind of like a little Taiwan Walker-ish, if you could say. Like there was some games he got roughed up a little bit, but then he stuck it out and got back in the game. So I'm rooting for the kid. Well, he's a little older than a kid, but I mean he's younger than me, so he's a kid. I'm an old man now. But I enjoyed watching him this winter, and I wish him luck. He should be on. I think he's going to be on the. But not mistaken, he's on Reading, or he's not Lehigh Valley. He's either Reading or Jersey Shore. I'll look that up real fast. Oh, a funny little footnote too. When I was doing research on him, now I got to look this up too for what the acronym really means. But his last minor league team he was on in 2019, the abbreviation was FTM in the Florida State League. So I'm sure it doesn't mean fuck the Mets, but I just thought that was pretty cool.
That is funny.
And my last guy is, I just got done before we came on the air. I just emailed these guys. If you're watching Adelaide Giants, I don't know if you watch our podcast. Where's my jersey? Ordered a hat and a jersey on December 23rd. I got the order number. I emailed you. Click your email. But this guy is the jersey I got. Power hitter, Rickson Wingrove. He's actually from Australia. Plays on the Giants in the all seasons. He got bumped up later in the year to Reading from Jersey Shore. So I actually got to see him before he got bumped up. So that was cool. I saw him at the one game I went to at Jersey Shore. He got bumped up for the last 15 games in Double-A. His last 15 games, 1 home run, 3 RBIs. 128 average, nothing special. He's going to strike out a lot, though. He's a power guy. So big dude, first baseman.
He's gigantic.
DH. Yeah, he's a big dude if you see him. Mike's seen him.
I saw him.
But overall, for the whole year last year, 16 homers, 66 RBIs, 232 average. I mean, right around what you would think, a power guy would do. But I'm waiting for my jersey. I'm gonna.
Australia's far away, man.
Yeah,
it might take a while.
I sent them an email, so hopefully they answer. And a couple quick things on the minors, real fast. In case for the people, for all you folks at home that didn't see my post earlier, MLB's starting a new thing called the spring breakout, where each club takes their top prospects and pits them against another team of prospects. So the Phillies released their roster today. It's on our Facebook page. I posted it up earlier. Our roster, and we're playing the Tigers on the 16th, but it's between I think the 16th and the 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. It's like 3 or 4 days. And I put the link up on our page too. So if you want to catch game times, where you can watch it or listen to it or whatever and whatnot. I'm actually outside of our game. I'm actually really looking forward to the Pirates versus Orioles because both have really good farm systems. And I'm actually not quite knowledgeable of both of them anyway too. So excited to see that. But And also, I just want to mention, I'll post this up tonight too. MLB Pipeline released a list of their top 30 Phil's prospects. I kind of got geeked out because now I got some homework to do because there's some new names on there that that are coming up through rookie ball and new guys in Clearwater now. Everybody's getting moved up and for the Dominican leagues and all that. So I got some new names to research, and in the coming weeks I'll be spotlighting some of them guys. So I just want to put that out there.
Nice.
Awesome, man. Thank
So
you.
is that like a tournament then, John? They just get their tournament style?
No, I think it's just the spot, put a spotlight on the top prospects kind of thing.
Okay.
Because there's going to be 16 games, so and they're all different times. So like they got it like the grapefruit. I don't know the grapefruit. In the link, it tells you each game and what day they are, like in each league, the grapefruit and the cactus and all. But I'm looking forward because I mean I do love our Phillies and I love trying to research our guys, but there's a big youth movement in the game today, which I love. It's refreshing to see a lot of good young dudes coming up through a lot of teams, and it's great to see. It's good for the game because it gets these young guys attached to these young stars now. But I like to try to get into the other clubs too and see who their up and comers are, and as much as I can. So I'm going to try to catch as many of them as I can. But that outside of ours, that Pirates and Orioles looks good to me.
Dude, that sounds great. Thanks for posting that for everybody.
No problem.
Just going to hit a couple of comments, and I got a really quick one here from Alex. What took you 2 minutes to say "fuck the Mets"? Come on, Alex. 602. You posted that. Papa John, just a quick thanks for welcoming him to the garage. So appreciate that, Papa John. And then 607. So if Alex hadn't said it at 602, we would have had it at 607. So thanks, George. We have our DPF in the field at spring training. He's 0-2 for games, so we were thinking about banning him from his next 2 games down there, but we decided to let him go. He's going tomorrow and Saturday, but still at a couple breweries down and around the Clearwater area. If any of you guys are down there, if you go to a brewery, the guy with the DPF shirt on, that's Steve. Say hi to him.
Yeah, and if you see him at the game and they start losing, just do like the Bronx Tale, stick him in the bathroom.
We were calling him a mush the other night. Do you know Bobby Joe?
No, I don't. But thank you,
Bobby Joe, loving the Reading gear on Johnny.
It's official stock. Got the Stotty on today.
Oh, that's right. You had to make that, didn't you?
Yeah. I got my Mick Abel coming soon.
Oh, nice. Dave has a double here that he thinks that prospect game you're just talking about will be interesting. And I guess they announced the roster today. Did you put the roster online too?
Yeah, I put a picture of it. Okay. I put a picture up on our page and a link for more information.
So this is a triple from Dave, but this is funny. They probably got confused because they received the order a day before you sent it. So that's pretty good. And our buddy Scott, the Cowboy, howdy y'all, fuck the Mets. Just got the rest of his order today. So for all you guys out there, it's on the bottom of the screen scrolling, our drunkphilsfans.com. You can also get Drunk Unions fans, Drunk Flyers fans, and Drunk Eagles fans merchandise on there as well. And not just shirts. There's a whole bunch of great merchandise that's out there. And just because this one's within arm's reach, it's the fanny pack, baby.
Mine's on my way.
Oh, and there you go. Chris has the tumbler.
Yep.
So,
Christ, I even got the candle. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Does that smell like 700 level at the vet? Is that what it smells like?
Stale beer, piss,
and soft pretzels, right?
And soft pretzels. That's right.
And Nancy, this is nice of you to say, Nancy. So, she loves that we actually dive in and do some research because then she learned some stuff. So that's pretty cool.
I saw that I saw that comment real fast. It went off. I seen that Scott said he got his phone case. It's crazy you say that, Scott, because right before Chris put that on the site, I just took a sticker and slapped on my OtterBox. So I made my own.
There you go.
I've had one for years.
Yeah, see what I mean? Yeah. I
Fantastic.
slapped a sticker on my OtterBox, and like the next day, Chris puts a phone case on his site. I'm like, no, you tell me.
So funny. All right. So moving into the next one, I think this segment is so fun for me, guys. So as y'all know, each time I'm on, I do what's called the Oh Dumbass of the Week. And just for anyone that's new out there, we had a player called Odubel Herrera, and man, he did some dumb stuff on the bases, in the outfield, at the plate. And at one point, me and Freddie Love, a buddy of mine, just started calling him Oh Dumbass instead of Odubel. And that kind of morphed into this segment here. And so this week's Oh Dumbass of the Week, it's close to home, right? It's in Jersey, in Suffolk County. So picture this, the local scientist, and he calls himself, or some people on social media had called him super brilliant. What he does is what he did was he owned a lab where on his LinkedIn page, he touts his research on the analysis of cannabis and the examination of drug addiction in society for public good. So he's researching the effects of cannabis on drug addiction so that he can then give back to society. So in the early hours of February the 18th, around 3 a.m, the good doctor called the police for what he described as a break into his lab. So when police arrived, it was immediately evident to them that the lab was, in fact, a very well stocked and very well built Breaking Bad type meth lab. And so upon searching the premises, the police found 3 kilograms of methamphetamine, 625,000 grams of pure ketamine, which, if for those of you who don't know, is a horse tranquilizer that people like to abuse these days. They found 20 plastic jugs of GBL, which is very similar to the date rape drug GHB, along with about $40,000 in cash. So the doc ended up pleading guilty to 13 charges, including criminal possession of a controlled substance and unlawful manufacturing of methamphetamine. And he'll be sentenced like right about now, like about mid-March. So the moral of this story, guys, is if someone breaks into your meth lab, don't be an oh dumbass and call the police on yourself. So that is our oh dumbass of the week.
That's a lot of horse tranquilizer.
Dude, a lot.
Somewhere Mr. Ed's going, come on, Wilbur, I'm good for it.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know if you guys watched. I don't know if you guys watched To Catch a Smuggler, but my 15-year-old loves it. And they try and smuggle ketamine in from Colombia quite often in lotion bottles that end up weighing like 3 or 4 times the amount that a regular lotion bottle should weigh. So the folks at all the ports and all the airports know, like, yeah, it's heavy. And then it always has ketamine in it. Ketamine's expensive, by the way.
This ain't no dang Perel.
625,000 grams of ketamine is like $3.2 million or something stupid like that. So,
wow.
But all right, Dugan, what do you want to talk about? A little bit of the position battle coming up?
Yeah. I fear, like I said earlier, really, I think there's one bench spot open for the Phils right now. With that's the assumption that Rojas is the everyday center fielder. Because, in my belief, is if the Phils make the decision that Rojas is not going to be the everyday player, they're going to send him down, just because that would give them a chance to get consistent at bats at AAA. So that would open up a second bench spot. Like right now, the stats I have compiled were not inclusive of today's game. I think he went 1 for 4 today with a double, Rojas. But before that, he was hitting like 200 through 6 games, striking out at a 30% clip. Pache, on the other hand, who seems to be his direct competition for for center field, was hitting 267 with 2 home runs and 3 RBI so far in the spring. John's boy's been hitting pretty good. Cave, he's hitting 364. Not much power, a couple RBIs. Hasn't struck out much. The one guy that's kind of interested me, and I got to find his stats here, David Dahl. He's an interesting character because he's had success at the major league level. Granted, it was with Colorado, so some of those numbers you have to take with a grain of salt. But right now, he's got 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, hitting 250. He could be a dark horse depending on what happens with Rojas. I think if Rojas makes the team out of spring training as the center fielder, that 4th spot probably goes to Pache. And Cave is probably, hopefully, on his way out of town. I don't know if anybody would claim him on waivers. I don't think he's a bad guy to keep in the minor league system to bring up if we needed him. But I just don't see him taking up a roster spot coming out of the season, out of spring training. I think if Rojas doesn't win the job outright, things could get interesting because I think you could also have a situation where Marsh moves back to center field and Whit Merrifield becomes an everyday ball player. I mean, he's a guy that gets 200 hits almost every season. He's one of the best contact hitters in baseball. He could really affect that lineup if he plays every day. Right now, I think Rojas is probably still the leader in the clubhouse because I think that's what the Phillies want. They want Rojas to be the everyday guy. But I could see a situation where he struggles early and they end up sending him back down to AAA and get some more work, some more reps, some more at bats, and that could totally change the way the Phillies outfield is. And Pache all of a sudden becomes the 4th outfielder, defensive replacement, rather than a 5th outfielder on this team. Another guy that's been really, I don't like to get too down or too up off of spring training, especially when if it's an established player. I mean, if Harper goes 2 for the spring, who cares, right? He's Harper. He's got a track record. A guy like Rojas, who's a little more unproven, I do like to see him have some success in the spring. But the one guy, he's not on the Phillies 40-man, but this Aramis Garcia, the catcher, this guy's hitting like 500 in the spring. Now, I don't want to get too excited about it. I did go back and look at his career. He's 31 years old. He's only really had like 4 seasons in the majors, and he's only like a 216 hitter over those 4 seasons. So we all got excited last spring when Jake Cave was hitting 400, and it seemed like every game he was hitting a home run. Oh, you loved him, John. Stop it. You loved him when he was yeah. You loved him. But, I mean, everybody got excited because here's this guy, low risk, high reward. He looked great in the spring. So I don't want to get too excited because, I think Stubbs is the backup, to Realmuto. I don't think that's going to change. But this guy swung the bat really well so far. I think he had a couple hits today. Coming into today, he was hitting 533, and I think he had a couple more hits today. He's getting a lot of at-bats and a lot of playing time, and he's producing. Just an interesting character. As far Cody Clemens, another guy having a nice spring. I just don't see where he fits, Clemens. I mean, maybe he could be the Jake Cave, because he can play first base and the outfield, and he's a left-handed stick. So if they were going to worried about that left-handed bat on the bench, maybe Clemens can jump over Cave and take that job. But I think right now Pache is the leader in the clubhouse to get that last bench spot. And then we'll see what happens with some of these guys that have to clear waivers to get sent down, and if we lose some guys. As far as the bullpen goes, there's a couple guys that are out there that are candidates for this bullpen. I know Michael Mercado is a guy that throws super hard. I think he struggled a little bit in his first outing early in the spring, his first time out. Since then, he's been really good, but he's carrying like a 7.71 ERA right now. Luis Ortiz has been really good in his early going in the spring here. He's got a 2.25 ERA. Andrew Blotti's pitched really well. He hasn't given up anything. He's got a 0 ERA. And the one guy who's been really impressive, I don't know if you guys have been following along, but Junior Marte, he's been really like dominant early in the spring, and he's a guy. I think he has the stuff. His stuff's nasty. Like most pitchers, I think it's confidence, and it's in between the ears. Yeah,
Head
I
game.
agree,
Head game.
100%. Connor Brogdon, outside of his first outing, I thought he's thrown the ball well. Covey is Covey. He's got a 9 ERA. Spencer Turnbull's only made one appearance, but he threw the ball really well in his one appearance with the Phils so far. I think he's a candidate to hang around because I think he's one of those guys that could be bullpen plus a spot starter if they needed somebody. So I think there's a healthy competition out of the bullpen because I think they're going to carry 8 coming out of the spring. Six spots are already spoken for. So it's really down to 2 guys. And I think Junior Marte, he's looked really good. He might be a guy that has an inside track. And I really think they want Brogdon to be a guy. Like he's a guy they drafted. He's a guy that they put a lot into a couple years ago. Pitched well 2 years ago when they went, to the World Series. He pitched well, especially in the playoffs. And then last year, he just, again, like a confidence thing or an in-between the years thing, he just kind of lost it last year. Another guy, he reminds me of Madsen, hard throwing, 96, 97 with a really good changeup. So I'd love to see Brogdon bounce back and get a spot in there. But another guy like Bellotti was great for the Phillies that World Series season too. I mean, so I think there's a lot of guys. I think Dylan Covey. I think he's probably not going to make it. I don't think we need that type of guy in the bullpen. But maybe Turnbull. So I think there's like 4 legitimate candidates for those last 2 spots. So it's going to get interesting as the spring heats up and how Topper decides to start using these guys, maybe putting them in a little more higher leverage situations. Hopefully all the teams will start playing their projected starters a little more often so we can get a better read on where our guys are at against better competition. But I like those 4 guys right now to battle it out for those 2 spots. And then you start talking about, Brogdon's out of options. Turnbull's out of options. I think Marte has 1 left. Covey's out of options. So it's going to be an interesting act with Dombrowski and Topper, how they build this bullpen and what risks they take potentially losing some of these guys that played big roles for them, the past 2 seasons. So I'm interested. That's what's worth watching in the spring for me. How this center field competition shakes out, and these last couple of bullpen spots. Wins and losses in the spring are what they are. It's more about these guys developing and like I said, some of these unproven guys, I think their numbers mean something in spring training. I think it does mean something where, I know Nola we know what Nola is. He went out today, gave up a couple runs in the first inning. Nola's Nola. We know how he's going to pitch all season. I'm not worried about him giving up. Yeah. I'm hoping it's an even year, so hopefully we get.
I forgot.
Even year Nola.
I forgot.
But I mean, so I'm excited. Those are the things I'm going to be watching. The next few weeks as spring training, winds down. I mean, the one guy who's a lock for the bullpen, Matt Strom he's looked fantastic. I mean, he is.
Yes.
I just like the way he attacks hitters. Like he's aggressive. He goes right at guys. Gets pissed off when he doesn't put the ball where he wants to. I love that emotion on the man. Guys like that could pitch for my team any day. I love that. So it's been fun. I think Hoffman's looked good. Alvarado's looked good. I mean, I know we shit on the Phillies bullpen a lot, but their bullpen's pretty solid. It's a really solid bullpen. They don't, I hope that they don't do this closer by committee thing and just sign a guy, right?
Yeah.
Alvarado, you're the closer, or Dominguez, you're the closer. Let him do it till he fails, and then I don't like this mix and match stuff. So that's what I'm hoping they do, going into the season. But it's going to be an interesting next couple weeks to watch these guys and see how it all shakes out.
Yeah.
Just
There's,
really-
okay, Mike.
just a really quick question, Dugan. Slap nuts. Is he just destined for Lehigh Valley, or what's
Yeah,
the deal?
he's a body. He's just a body.
Yeah.
I think he could hit 1,000 with a home run every at bat, and he doesn't make this team. It's just his time passed. It came and went. I actually saw something interesting. I have to read. I have to read the article. A lot of people blame the Phillies for Slapnuts changing his swing and all the issues that he has. He actually went to an outside batting coach, and I believe it was the same guy that worked with Aaron Judge. So can you imagine 5'8" Scotty Slapnuts trying to change his swing to look like 6'8" Aaron Judge? Like, what sense does that fucking make? He was a solid contact hitter with 10 to 15 home run power in the minors. That probably translate well up to the major league as a 280 hitter with 10 to 15 home run power. Why all of a sudden you got your money? Why are you going to change your swing to try and hit 20 home runs? Like, now you can't catch up to a good fastball because he's got that uppercut swing. And people kill the Phillies about, and they talk about him moving around positions and that screwed him up. Christ, how many guys in baseball today make a living playing multiple positions? Whit Merrifield, Placido Polanco. Placido Polanco could have been an all-star at third base and second base. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand. If that bothers you that much, you're mentally weak as a ball player, in my opinion. It shouldn't affect you at the plate because you played center field and second base 2 different days. Like, it shouldn't affect you. Your approach to the plate should never change no matter where you're playing in the field. But I think the Phillies get a bad rap for what's happened to Slapnuts. I think he tried to change himself into more of a power hitter, and it backfired on him. And but he got paid. He got his money.
Oh, he got paid. Yeah.
Well, I asked you that question to say this. I think they're literally making him play out this season just because they paid him all that money. And he's just going to ride the bus in or whatever they do in AAA. So
yeah. I don't disagree with you, Mike. Yeah.
Kingery went to that instructor and said, "Do I have the same swing as Aaron Judge?" And the instructor went, "Like peas and carrots." Peas and carrots, Scotty. I think Scotty Jetpacks. I just like you said, and what's crazy too. So much has changed. Like back when he was drafted, Montgomery was in charge. And it was McPhail, and it was
Clentak, Matt
Clentak, and all them. So all of them, like Dombrowski, Middleton's got nothing to do with it. Dombrowski's nothing to do with it. Sam Fold, Mattingly, none of them have anything to do with it. But they're the ones in charge now. And like you guys said, they're just they paid them, so they got to make them play it out. They're not going to get rid of him, for nothing.
It's a shame.
He's going to walk.
If he could have hit 260, 270, he probably could have had a real nice career because he is good defensively in the outfield. He's got speed. He's a good second baseman. He probably could have carved out a nice career as kind of that, jack of all trades utility guy. But he's a strikeout machine. He can't catch up to a good fastball and can't stay off a curveball. Not a good combination.
I always thought they should have just kept him at second. But I mean, like you said, that shouldn't matter at the plate, like what position you are. But they just threw him there.
They tried to hand him the second base job that COVID year, and he couldn't hit to keep it.
I remember that.
Yeah, they gave it to him, and he just couldn't hit. He couldn't hit to stay in the lineup. So, I mean,
about the what you call it, you were saying Pasha and all. I totally agree with you. And one of our close friends of the show and a great supporter, our buddy Sig, he commented the other day or yesterday or whatever, and I totally agree. I think Rojas is going to be the starting center fielder, and I think Pasha is going to take that spot. But I was reading somewhere I was reading somewhere yesterday, and I wish I knew what article on Twitter or whatever so I can give them credit. But somebody wrote something. I don't know if it was Phillies Nation, one of those verifiable sources. It's not like one of those run by the mill places, but they were saying that Topper said it's going to come down to the very end probably because what we're looking at that point, do we just want that lefty on the bench or do we need some speed and some pop from that outfielder? And I thought that made sense. I would like it to be Pache, not because pay no attention to the stuff that's written under my name there. You know what I mean? But I mean, I really don't think he has a place here. I don't. Here,
I think either way, no matter who it is, they're going to lack power on the bench again this year. Like they're just not.
Exactly.
Pache's not a power hitter. He'll hit a couple here and there, but and neither is Cave. So I mean, Stubbs doesn't hit for power. Sosa don't really hit for power. They really don't have a power bat on the bench, and that was something I was hoping they were going to go out and get.
I was hoping to get Duvall.
Yeah, Duvall.
But then you're limited to him. You limit to where he could really play. He's not that great of an outfielder anymore. You're limited to where you could put him out there.
Yeah.
Whereas I'll take Merrifield any day because you could, infield, outfield, whatever.
Yeah.
But
still not much of a power. Not much of a power hitter. Whitfield's a 10 to 12 home run guy. Playing a full season. If he's part time, he's probably less than that. So.
And I read about Rojas too. What Kevin Long was saying. Now Rojas isn't hitting that great in spring. He's like 4 for 20. He had a triple. There's a couple bombs. Well, he had a double today. Then he got caught out. See, Mike. You were making fun of me. You were messing with me. I didn't see him get thrown out at third. I didn't know he was like wide, well.
I did.
Yeah, I was listening.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that scene in Major League?
Yeah, and he had to crawl.
Oh, we lost Mike. Yeah, that scene where he's like, "Come on." Yeah,
he's like crawling. I heard that on the radio today on the way home. So I didn't know, but that's when I was texting when I was at the red light. I was like, "Oh, well, at least they're trying to steal more a little bit this year." But what I heard, I read something. I read something earlier about Kevin Long was saying he's happy in what he's seeing from Rojas, even though he's not hitting that well. He's opening up his swing, and it's similar to what he did with Mitch Gardner back with the Yankees. He was hitting a lot of ground balls. He was grounding out a lot. He was worried more about his speed and getting on base than the actual swing. So Kevin Long said Rojas is about 80% there where he wants it, and now they're at the hardest 20%.
Yeah.
And once he got Mitch Gardner fixed up that year, he went on to hit 15 to 20 homers. That's the kind of power he can have. Not saying Rojas is going to go out and hit 15 to 20, but that's the kind of power he can have mixed with the speed. So he's working on that last 20% right now. So hopefully, and they said, I read that it's his job to lose. So, but I mean, I do agree with you too. If they do send him down, you could platoon Pache and Marsh with, lefty righty stuff and with Merrifield on left. That's perfect.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the big question is, do you want Rojas trying to get that last 20% in the majors or in the minors? Find that last 20%. Now I know Kevin Long's not going to follow him down to Lehigh Valley and be there every day.
I think he might the spring, but I think he might the spring, but I get what you mean.
Yeah, I'd love to see if the kid figures it out. I mean, he's going to be fantastic. I mean, he's probably going to be the 9 hitter, so you're not looking for him to hit 300. If he can hit a solid 240, 250 with his speed and get on base, I think that's huge. Out of the 9 hole. So.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, I know it's spring training and they mess around with stuff, but I was surprised when they put him at leadoff today. I'm like, oh, okay.
Get some more at bats too. He's going to get up there a few more times.
But I'm not really worried. I mean, I'm not worried as I was last year because last year in the beginning of the year we were like, fuck, what are we going to do in outfield and all? Then they finally brought up Rojas later on, and then it was cool till the end of the year, and then we were good. Not really worried. It's just I would like to know, like at the end of camp, it's like, okay, this guy's, Cave's gone, and we're rolling with Pasha, or just decide what you're doing. And as far as what you were saying for the bullpen, I agree. Like pretty much everybody's pitching well. The one guy I'm looking at struggling this spring is Soto. Soto's not really pitching that great.
Yeah, let me see what his numbers are. He's a guy that I think he's hit or miss.
Yeah,
He's got three games, 3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 3 Ks. The walks are high, two walks in only 3 innings. I don't like that. But that's his problem. The walks. If he can control it, kind of like Alvarado, a couple years ago. I mean, when he figured out throwing strikes, Alvarado became lights out. And I think Soto has the stuff to be Alvarado light. He could be that kind of guy. So I don't hate on Soto, except when he doesn't throw strikes.
No, I don't hate on him. I just saw him sticking out to me more than the others struggling wise. But I mean,
yeah, it's the walks. It's the walks.
I think my back end on paper, if it works out in real life, Jesus, it's going to be dominant. I got like you throw Kirkering out in the 7th, Hoffman in the 8th, and Alvarado in the 9th, and make Alvarado your closer. Like name him your closer. That could be dangerous. And then you got Schramm and all them. Oh, I mean, I like our chances with I like our bullpen this year.
Is Soto a guy who needs that, that pressure of an actual situation rather than a spring training game?
He struggled a little bit last year
to kind of, I don't know, get motivated.
I think it's more just about throwing strikes. I think it's just that's his issue is the strike throwing. When he throws strikes, I think he dominates. He doesn't give up a lot of hard contact. He's got good breaking stuff. It's the control, I think, is the issue. And that was similar to Alvarado a couple years ago. You walk 2 guys and all of a sudden you give up a hit. You give up a run, because you walk 2 guys. So I think that's a big part of Soto's problem.
Another question. I was just looking at this earlier, and I closed out the page. Is David Dahl a non-roster invitee, or is he on the 40-man? I forget.
No, he's a non-roster. Yeah, he's a non-roster.
He's a non-roster?
Someone would have to get bumped off the 40-man if he was going to make the team. Yeah.
He's got a couple dingers. He's looked okay. I mean, it's like, see, that's why I get like and it's not just the DPFers out there. I'm just talking about the internet as a whole. That's why I sometimes spring training don't mean nothing. Like when I put the lineup up earlier the other day. Here's the lineup. The boys are back because they were off yesterday. People are like, oh, a bunch of guys that won't make the team. Hey, these guys are auditioning either for now or on down the road. Like they might not make the team this year, but they're showing you what they could do in case you need a late season call up. In case they might not be playing here this year. You might trade them so they can show off for their new team, or they'd be like, here's what I got. See you in a couple of years. Like it's a chance for it's more so for the prospects to show off what they got and prove they belong, and for the vets to work on what they need to work on. And that's why I like spring training. The wins and losses don't mean shit. We all know that. It's not like there's you win like the spring training cup and stuff or nothing, but it's important. It's important to me. I enjoy watching it, and especially because I'm watching the uppercomers.
So I'm going to put a call into Pervasive Technologies because apparently my internet is not very good today. So bear with me, everybody. Sorry about that. Yeah, awesome. I think that's a great segue into Johnny, your fantasy lineup, man. What do you got for us as far as guys you want to put on the field? Like I this is how I thought of it when you presented this. Did you guys ever play Boggle?
Yeah.
Yes.
You put all the guys in the thing and you shake it up and you make your own team out of it. So that's what I was thinking of. So fire away, man.
I got I got grounded for Boggle. I made some dirty words back in the day.
That shocks me, man.
Yeah.
The P word.
But yeah, there was a P word. It was poop. But yeah, I was just thinking of something different. A topic for this week. Throw it out there. I was thinking, who would your field a team together of? It doesn't have to be if you want it to be all Phillies, go for it. It does. There's no rules to it, but it's got to be current MLBers that you would throw a team together. Now, what I told the guys is, put a lineup card in your 5-man rotation, a closer, and just pick a team's bullpen because we're not going to go sit here and go, oh yeah, I'll take these 10 relievers. You know what I mean? So I said, pick a team's bullpen. So just something fun. Because I love the Phillies. I'm a diehard Phillies fan. I don't like any other teams, but I do enjoy. Like I'll have the Phillies on my big screen, and I'll have like the split screen on MLB.com next to me on the laptop, checking other teams out. Scouting team, whatever. I just love baseball. But here's my lineup. I got, and it's no particular like batting order or whatever. I'm just going by positions. Catcher, I got Adley Rutschman. I know it's only like a second or so year or whatever, but the kid brings it, man. He made an impact instantly right when he came into the league for the Orioles. Love watching him play. Honorable mention would have been Jonah Heim from Texas. I like watching him too. But first base, it's Bryce Harper. Has he played a full season there yet? No. But I know he's going to put all his balls, his heart and soul, sweat, blood, tears, all that into playing that the best he can, and the flashes we've seen, he's been doing great so far. So second base, Bryson Stott, my boy. Of course, I just threw him and when picking the list too, it wasn't like necessarily like these guys got to be Hall of Famers. It's got to be this or that. Just your favorites, guys you like watching. My shortstop's Ellie De La Cruz from the Reds. Love that dude. Super speeds, throwing the bags. He's got power. He's got pop. I'm gonna like watching that kid play for a long time out in Cincy. Third base, Bone Bombs. I mean, come on, Alec Bohm, my guy. Were you surprised?
No.
My three. No Phillies in my outfield though. These are just three guys I enjoy playing ball. Julio Rodriguez from the Mariners. Cedric Mullins from the Orioles. I've always liked watching him. And Adolis Garcia from the Rangers. That dude's a bad boy. We found that out in the opening series last year, early when we got whooped by the Rangers. He put a whooping on us. But I mean, I like watching him. And my DH, you think DH, you're gonna hit some big power dude or whatever. But I'm putting this guy at my DH because, he does play left field here and there. But this dude's been my favorite player since he came in the league, and pretty much where he's at right now. He DHs a lot more than the left field. Andrew McCutchen, class guy, always been a class dude, great teammate, great clubhouse guy. Wish he was here longer than the 3 years he was here, but man, I was geeked out when we got him. That's been my favorite player, and that's my favorite player until he retires. He could sign 5 more 1-year contracts. It's still my guy. But my rotation is Garrett Cole, Shane Bieber, Zach Wheeler. Had to throw Philly in there. Zach Gallen. And I love this guy, Nick Lodolo. Always gives the Phillies fits. But the dude's got filthy stuff. Throw him in there as my fifth pitcher. Bullpen, I'm taking the Phils. We were just talking about it. I love our bullpen. I mean, there's a couple guys I'm like, but I mean, overall, I love our bullpen. And my closer, it's a little off the reservation to some, maybe, but David Bednar from the Pirates. Nice, young, good reliever. He was one save short of hitting 40 for the first time in his young career last year. But I love watching him when he comes in. And the Pirates made some slight okay moves, so to build on. bring in some vets to add to those young dudes they got. So they might win 85 this year, but he might have a few more chances to close the game. But that's my team of favorite people I like to watch.
Nice.
What do you guys got?
You want to go, Mike, or you want me to go?
Sure. No, I can go. So you know those players that you absolutely hate until they're on your team, a la Lenny Dykstra, right? Fuck the Mets. Hated him when he was on the Mets. Loved him when he was on our team. That's my first baseman. That's Freddie Freeman. That guy rakes, first of all. Second of all, you can play first. Third of all, he's a competitor to me. And I like that when he's on my team. I hate him off, especially when he was on the Braves, but now that he's on the Dodgers. I also took Stott and Turner from the Phillies up the middle. I think you're going to see they've had some time to gel now, and Turner's been here for a year, and I think you're going to see them settle in to be kind of like a J-Roll Utley, like symbiotic, and they're going to know where each other is at. I think it's going to be cool. So I picked them. Rafael Devers. So this is another guy that can rake, and I got to see him a lot over the past few years because I lived in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
He seems to be, every time I get an update about the Red Sox, it's that he either drove in a run or he scored a run or he hit a home run or whatever. It seems like he's like their big bright spot. Catcher for me is JT. I just like how he conducts the business of the catcher position. He has all these different personalities and all these mental midgets and all these other guys in the bullpen we were just talking about, and he can manage them well enough to get us over the last couple of years to the playoffs and to the World Series, and then almost to the World Series. The outfield for me, I put Harper back in the outfield. I've been screaming about some sort of trade for Trout. I'd like to see him here. I think he would, like a hometown guy that's one of the best baseball players, arguably ever, that hasn't played much in the playoffs, would be interesting for me here. We talked about Bellinger a lot. I put him in that. And my DH, I don't know if this is a consequence of recent familiarity, because I've seen him hit a lot, but dude, Delgado is crushing the ball right now. And for the Blue Jays against us. Am I calling him the right name? Yeah.
Guerrero
Jr. Yeah. Oh my God, dude. So I put him in at DH. I got 4 starters: Wheeler, Verlander, Suarez, and Bauer. I really want that guy to come back. I want to see what he can do.
Did you? I saw he signed with a Japanese or Korean, one of them, an Asian travel team that is just like a showcase team to get in front of scouts. So, I forget what they were called, but yeah,
barnstorming.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. Now I got to go look for it.
Wow. Yeah, I got to look that up.
Yeah, I think it was just today it was reported that he signed with this team. Yeah, it's just like a showcase team, goes around Asia playing in front of scouts, and they hope to catch somebody's eye.
Because he's been over there for a year or two now, so it makes sense that he hooked on over there.
Yeah.
I also picked the Phillies bullpen, but I picked, however you say it, Cassé, the closer for the Indians.
Cassé, yeah, I like him.
Hopefully he'll be in the Phillies bullpen.
So hey,
yeah,
I really like that he's
keep Crawford healthy.
Well, but he's young but experienced, and he's been there before and he's had success, if that all makes sense. So that was kind of my.
He's still got 4 years of control left too on his contract.
Yeah.
I think he's
That
25
team
with 4 years. Yeah.
That
That's
team
a lot.
control looks mighty tasty, man. If we can pull that
Yeah.
off,
Yep.
So
Yep.
that was my guys.
like it.
All right, I'll run through mine real quick. And I tried to avoid Phillies, just because I think I'd pick them all too, just like John would, because fuck every other team other than the Phillies. But
Yeah.
so I have some similar guys. So my catcher was Adley Rutschman from Baltimore. I just think he's a fun young kid with a lot of talent that's only going to get better as he improves, and I think he'll eventually overtake JT as the number one catcher as JT gets older. I still think JT is probably still the best for me. First base, and for a lot of same reasons, Freddie Freeman. I think you could wake Freddie Freeman up at 3 a.m. on Christmas morning and he'd hit line drives. That guy is just that freaking good. He is, and he's got a punchable face, maybe because that's what he played for the Braves. His face is punchable, but what a good player. Just clutch, just a 330 home runs every year, just by waking up. I did go with a Philly at second base because Bryson Stott has really. He's really impressed me, and I think he's only going to get better. And he's, I'm hoping in 5, 6, 7 years, he's in that Utley stratosphere here in Philadelphia. Like he's that revered as a ball player. I love the way he plays the game. He plays hard. I'd like to see him develop a little more of that like Utley power, get into the 20 to 25 home run range as a power hitter, but keep being a good contact hitter and a good two-strike hitter. But he's a fun guy to watch play and a guy it's hard to root against. Third base, a guy I've always loved, Cleveland, Jose Ramirez. I just think the guy's a fantastic ball player. Switch hitter, hits from both sides of the plate, hits with power from both sides of the plate. Seems like a fun guy. Beat the hell out of who was the White Sox second baseman or shortstop last year? Anderson, right? Punched Anderson in the face. It's like how do you not like a guy like that? My shortstop is a son of a former major leaguer. I like Bo Bichette. That guy's a good hitter. Good ball player. I'd like to see him stay healthier. He gets hurt a little bit, but what a good ball player when he plays. My outfielders, Julio Rodriguez from Seattle.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of this guy from the White Sox, Luis Robert Jr. I like him. He was a guy that I would love to see the Phillies go after last year, like the deadline, right-handed power hitter. And a guy that I've always loved and I always wanted the Phillies to get, Brian Reynolds from Pittsburgh. Just a guy I thought would have been a perfect fit for the Phillies for years. I've loved Brian Reynolds. My starters, I kind of went a little unconventional, but I like Corbin Burns. I always like watching Corbin Burns pitch. Pablo Lopez is a guy who he's kind of like an old school junk baller, not a guy that really throws hard, but he gets guys out. He's fun to watch because he's a pitcher. He's not a thrower. And I like that about him. Jesus Luzardo from Miami, I think his stuff is just nasty, and he eats the Phillies alive. But he is a good pitcher, fun to watch. I like Jose Berrios with Toronto now. I liked him when he was in Minnesota. I like him in Toronto. And a guy I thought the Phillies, another guy at the deadline last year, I wanted Eduardo Rodriguez. He's with Arizona now. He's with Detroit last year. For my closer, I'm taking Devin Williams from Milwaukee.
Okay.
I like Devin Williams. And I am going to fall back and say I think the Phillies are my favorite overall bullpen. I still have my DH. I deferred my DH pick to the end because I'm taking the Asian sensation Shohei Ohtani because I think he's the show. He's the show. You stop what you're doing when Ohtani comes to bat, and you want to see what he's going to do. A lot of these Asian superstars that come here, they don't pan out as much as they're hyped to be. And this guy has not only matched the hype, he's exceeded the hype. He's such a fun player to watch. Looks like he's a great guy too. Like he seems like he just enjoys playing baseball. I hate that he's on the Dodgers and he went to a
Yes,
super
I hate
team.
that.
And I hate that, but he's just he's a showstopper. He's a guy you want to see hit, and that's why I'll have him as my DH.
Good call.
I like it. I like it. A funny story about Shohei, where you said he's the show. Remember that game? Not last year, but the year before. Angels versus Phillies. It was here. I was at the game. Harper tied it up, and then with a home run. We were down like 3 or something. I think he tied it up with like a 3-run home run, something like that. And then Stott hit the game winner.
Yeah.
Game-winning home run. When you say he's the show, like us, like as American people, Phillies fans, whatever your background is or whatever, we were already hyped. But like, even like before those home runs, like every pitch Shohei took, I turn around. There's people actually flew in from Japan. Every pitch, recording, taking pictures of everything he did when he was at bat. And like, even when we won the game, the Japanese guy tapped me. He's like, "Oh, great game. I was like, "Oh, thank you, sir." I was like, "I love your guy." You know, we were talking about Shohei. I was like, "I love watching this guy, man." Like that's baseball. But I mean, the guy told me, he's like, "Oh yeah, I flew all these miles just to see this game." I'm like, "Wow."
That's awesome.
I was like, "Wow, that's pretty cool." So
yeah, yep.
Good stuff. I got to do a wardrobe change real quick for this next segment. Hold on one second.
Uh-oh. Not Tandek's banana hammock, is it?
No banana hammock. So we would be really remiss if we didn't do a little tribute to number 62 today. The great center from the Philadelphia Eagles, Jason Kelce, as he made his his retirement official this week. So there's some stats that stick out, and a lot of these have been said. So, but bear with me through them because they need to be said. The guy had an amazing career. So he's drafted in the 6th round of the NFL draft with pick number 191. You guys know how many picks there are?
Oh goodness, 6th round. So that's the last round, isn't it?
Oh, no, seven rounds.
7 rounds.
No,
7 rounds.
6. No,
Is
there's
there?
6.
I thought there was 7.
There might be 7 now. When he was drafted, there was
okay.
6.
I was going to say there's 7 now.
199 picks. He was 8th from last. Kind of like think Tom Brady, right? He all 13 years of his career with the Birds. He played 193 games, all of which he started. He owns the Eagles record for the most consecutive games played at 156, and he passed John Runyon to take that record. He was a major part of the Super Bowl winning squad in Super Bowl 52. He's a 6-time first team All-Pro, and he made the Pro Bowl 7 times. So those are some things on the field that he's done over his career that he's been known for. And then there are the things that he's done off of the field. Really, if you think about Jason Kelce, the things that he's done off the field have really solidified him as one of the all-time great Philly athletes. So think about these things, right? Think about Jason Kelce as Fat Batman, right? How classic is that? Dugan, you just held up the bobblehead, right? Where he's dressed in a mummer's outfit at the Super Bowl parade, and he gives this amazing speech. One of my favorite things, just because I'm a huge Phillies and Fanatic fan, when he runs out on the Citizens Bank Park field and chugs a beer and hugs the Fanatic, lifts the Fanatic up off the ground. He appeared in 2 or 3 episodes of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. There was a documentary entitled Kelce on Amazon Prime Video where he just let us into his life. off the field and his family. His appearance on SNL with his brother Travis and his mom and his dad. His podcast that he does with his brother Travis all the time. They talk about, everything that's going on in both of their lives. He's got not one, but 2 Christmas albums that he talked his fellow linemen into doing with him for charity. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but I can never forget it. He also talked his offensive lineman peers into doing the Bust the Body Image lineman issue of ESPN the magazine back in the day, where they all got he got all his teammates from the Super Bowl to pose without clothes for that body issue and really talk about what their bodies go through and how they train and that kind of thing. All those things really help to make this person like kind of a superhuman athlete that's relatable in this city and that's hardworking and has blue collar fans and that really appreciates when someone gives 100% on the field, but also off of the field. Can relate to the folks in the city. But I read 2 stories this week that really, to me, make Jason Kelce really, really human, right? First, right after his press conference where he, talked, I think, for 42 minutes and it was super emotional, he had the Eagles brass gather the staff in a cafeteria at the complex. And directly after finishing his retirement speech, he went into where they were gathered and he thanked them all for what he had done for not only him, but for the rest of his team throughout his career. So I just thought, like, for a second, what would I have been, where would my energy level have been after that long emotional speech of retirement? Like, would I have thought of thanking the staff for everything that they had done? And I just thought that was a super classy move. And then the last one that I read, just, I think not yesterday, but the day before, just think about this one for a quick second, right? So, and I'll pause maybe for a second because it gets me a little verklempt. So everybody grab a tissue, right? So Jason Kelce, clearly athletes get their ankles and thumbs and things taped, right? Well, he's had the same trainer tape him up for 13 seasons. So think about that. And for everyone who has not played a sport, that's every practice, that's every game for 13 years. Yeah, he's had the same gentleman. This guy's name is Joe Opella, has taped him up. And so these guys know one another very well. They know each other's families. And so if you remember, Jason showed up to his press conference in a tank top, shorts, and flip-flops, but his ankles were taped. And so a lot of people were like, why would you have done that? Well, Opella, the trainer, went on social media afterwards and he told the story. So Joe Opella was diagnosed with cancer this past year. And so Jason Kelce, throughout that cancer diagnosis, offered Joe and his family his shore house if they needed to get away. He had meals sent to Joe Opella's family. And, as cancer patients do, he was going through chemo treatments. And as he was going through chemo treatments, and they're cumulative, right? He became harder and harder for him to travel. And so he did not make that trip to Tampa, which ended up being Jason Kelce's last game. And Joe Opella told Jason Kelce, hey man, I really regret not making that trip. It's your last game. I wanted to be there for you to tape you up one last time. Immediately, Jason Kelce tells him, well, then you can tape me up for my press conference when I retire. And that to me is just like an amazing story of how this guy is just a human being that had an amazing career on the field, but also off the field as well, and made an impact. So, Jason Kelsey, you'll certainly be missed for your skills and leadership on the field, but more importantly, for what you meant to the city of Philadelphia and the surrounding areas that you support as well. And one last thing, I want this to be a call to action for Phillies brass. If anyone on the Phillies brass listens to this podcast, let's get number 62 out on the field in red pinstripes and throw out that first pitch on opening day this year.
I'd love that. I would love it.
It's just a little tribute to number 62.
Awesome.
All right, guys, let's get a couple of viewer comments and then sign off for the day. Let's see. Papa John, the dumbass is the Phillies for signing Nola to a extension. Okay.
Oh, well, the apple don't fall far from the tree now, does it?
It sounds familiar.
Just a wee bit familiar.
Amy, we appreciate you listening on your way to work, and for those of us that'll be in Clearwater, please come and find us. And
that's my cousin.
Say, hey.
That's my cousin Amy.
Hi, cousin Amy. Mark says if Pache is a starter, we should just give up.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah.
Let's see here. Scotty's on here again. Totally agree with John. Spring training is amazing. Gives the prospects a chance to play with the vets and learn from them. I might have missed that in the internet scuttlebutt that I was involved in, but I agree with that for sure. Nancy likes your Kutch call. I think Chris might be listening from wherever he's at in the world today.
The commander-in-chief.
Sig,
buddy.
I think Sig had to work until 7:11 because at 7:12 he said fuck the Mets and fuck a whole bunch of other people.
I think all those codes mean he sunk somebody's battleship. I can't.
Maybe it could be
B7. I don't know.
So there's Chris again. Fuck Joe Carter. Happy birthday, Joe. Fuck you. He's 64 today, I think you said.
Yeah. Fuck Joe Carter. 64th.
Fuck him. Fuck him 64 times over then.
George, 62. Best Eagle
Fuck Canada.
ever. And let's see. We'll end with Steve. You made it to the next brewery, guys.
Shocking.
And they have beer.
That's crazy.
That's my man, Steve. I love Steve.
Kelsey married a woman who won't wear a non-Eagles outfit even at her brother-in-law's Super Bowl. That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Good job, Nancy. Great call out.
My dad grew up with her dad.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, remember I was telling you that in the group chat.
That's right. Yep. Very cool, guys. Let's sign off. Anything you want to sign off with, dude?
I just want to, contribute to your Kelsey thing. What a great player. What a great person. I named my dog after him. I got a dog after the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Her name is Kelsey, spelled just like his name. So he's a guy that I think, is going to be right now. He might be the face of the Phillies sports Mount Rushmore. I think he's the number one face up there, and it's going to be hard for anybody to knock him off that because he finished his speech with, we all share the common bond now of being Philadelphians. He turned into a Philadelphian his 13 years here. His durability, he played every day. Like you referenced the biography on him, the Kelsey show on Prime. You saw how beat up he was after every game and what he had to do just to get himself ready to play again. And if you can't watch that and just have so much respect and pride that guy was ours for 13 seasons, there's something wrong with you. He's a hero, and he always will be. So I thank him for entertaining us for 13 seasons, and the Eagles are a lesser team without him. All you, John.
All right. We got 50 seconds real fast. Hold on a
Yep.
second. A DPF birthday just passed, so I gotta, you know what I mean? And some listeners told me before I got a great voice, so happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Philly Sports Guys #1 fan Dugan. Happy birthday to you. Hey.
Hey,
And many
40,
more.
49 plus 1. I'm 49
That's
plus
right.
1.
All right, everybody. Hey, we always have a blast doing this. We love that you listen. Thank you so much. Remember, 5/18, we have on May 18th, we have our game at Citizens Bank Park. No fly zone on March 30th and May 18th. And check out our website for our merch. Fuck the Mets, fuck Joe Carter, and fuck Nate Bergazzi. Thanks, guys. Have an amazing evening.
All right.